Compassion. Think about that word for a minute. Ponder its meaning. Roll those thoughts, ideals, and beliefs around your head for a few moments. What kinds of things are you seeing? How does the thought grab you? What are you feeling? Compassion. Such a powerful word for some. For others, just a fancy buzzword that we like to throw around to show others how much we know, how much we care for others. To show how much we belong to a certain philosophy or group. Sure, most people would argue that everyone knows what compassion is, but to those who really know what the word means, do we really know what it is? Do we take compassion one step further from our minds and put it into action wisely? Or is it just another fancy buzzword on the parchment of someone's philosophy? Understanding that compassion is not something that can be applied like a blanket to all situations. Compassion is a very difficult state to be in all of the time. That is where the misconception of compassion really comes to life. The Webster's Dictionary at dictionary.com defines compassion as a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. Most of us have felt the deep need to help others through their pain, to help them through a really tough time, to feel sorry for someone else. Yet so very few of us act upon this deep urge wisely. We are taught by those who have taken the lessons from many philosophies and religions literally and use compassion in every situation. Compassion is not a band-aid that can be applied to every cut, bruise, or scrape. In my mind, compassion is more of a state of being than it is a state of mind. Compassion is knowing when to step in and help, and when to step back and allow things to happen to someone. When we use compassion as a blanket for all of the world's problems, we do so at the risk of making things worse for others, and putting ourselves at risk as well. I would like to take the word and meaning of compassion one step further. For a night, the word compassion does not just mean to help others through the toughest times of their lives. The word compassion means for us an undying love and respect for others. To be able to treat others in the highest regard. Not for any other reason other than our compassion for them. For all things. Understanding that to have compassion is to have the highest respect for life. Compassion is a very good tool and a very good attitude to have when dealing with the world and all of those who share it with us. It does not mean that you have to give your last dollar away, and it certainly does not mean that we all have to join the Peace Corps. I can see someone out there jumping up and down right now. Yeah, I see you. Saying, so what you're saying is that we should only feel compassion towards others and not act on that feeling? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is this. Compassion as an act cannot be applied to every situation that we will encounter in our lives. Matter of fact, if you do blindly apply the act of compassion to every situation in your life, you will find yourself suffering at some point and also finding yourself in a position to where you are no longer able to help anyone. What we should strive for and develop is a compassionate state of being. That state of being where we understand and respect others and the things that bring us together. The common threads that hold us all together and not so much on what makes us different from each other. So how can we apply compassion to our lives? To find a compassionate state of being? Here there are a few things we can do in our lives to start to increase our compassion towards others. These are not the end-all ways to develop compassion, but I've found that they are a good start. We have to take a non-judgmental approach to others and their situations. It can be very difficult to look at something or someone without our preconceived judgments about them. It seems to be in our very nature to do this almost immediately. But like many things, we only approach others in this manner because we are conditioned to. Part of the knight's journey is to unlearn what we have learned and to recondition ourselves for the better. Go out of your way every day to keep yourself from judging 2 things. Give that a few weeks, and then up the ante to say 5 things or people that you can interact with or situations you deal with without first prejudging what you see. Treat others as you wish for them to treat you. Yeah, I said it. I went there. You've been hearing this for as long as you can remember, but it is important not to forget how wise of a thought it is. In order for us to learn to be more compassionate, we must first understand what it is we expect from others. We must learn to know ourselves in such a way that there is nothing about ourselves that would make us love ourselves any less. Once we understand how we want others to treat us, then we will naturally follow suit and start treating others in a compassionate and respectful way. Walk a mile in another person's shoes. In most situations, it is impossible for us to understand what someone is going through if we are not willing to put ourselves in their place for a moment to see what they might be going through. Now, I understand that there will be those times where we cannot possibly know what another person is going through, but we can strive to understand nonetheless. I can tell you in my previous lines of work, I've just about seen it all. Or so I keep telling myself until the next thing comes around. And have dealt with many situations that I would probably never personally find myself in. The key for me being able to help them in that moment was to be empathetic and to try and imagine what they must be feeling and thinking. It is the first step to problem solving that many people seem to miss and usually keeps them separated in distance from those they are trying to help. This also points to another notion that I find many people trapping themselves with. Knights do not seek to be detached from those around them. We seek to participate in the chaos of life. By actively participating in life, we find ourselves in a better position to have compassion, mercy, and to be non-judgmental, because we are on the same level everyone else is on. We have very well walked a mile in someone else's shoes, and by experiencing our emotions, we are better for it. This does not mean they control us, but we strive to participate nonetheless. Never take anything too seriously, nor too personally. Far too many of us let our feelings keep us from loving and caring for those around us all of the time. First thing we do when we're trying to help others, to show our compassion for them, is to take everything a bit too seriously. Now, do not mistake what I say for all situations, because there are some situations that require immediate, direct, and serious action. But most situations do not. When I say don't take everything too personally, I mean to say that we shouldn't allow what people say or do to affect us deep down on a personal level. We shouldn't let others or the situations affect us in a way that it comes home with us or follows us wherever we go. We have to realize that most things that happen in this world around us are out of our control. The only thing we can control is how these things affect us. All things are connected. What happens to one can most certainly happen to you. It is a widely accepted belief that all things are connected. Because a knight respects all life, when dealing with others, a knight knows that they are part of that very knight. When we find ourselves dealing with a person who's in a bad spot, or even when interacting with others, we develop a basic respect and decency for them, and this keeps things in a fair perspective. Always remember, when dealing with someone or a situation, try and learn from what is going on. Always remember that what is happening to this person can very easily happen to you someday. If you help them through this issue, you've not only gained a friend and an ally, but you've also gained valuable knowledge for the next time that you face a situation or person that may be similar. Compassion is a very powerful word, but even more powerful is the use of this in our daily lives. You certainly can change the world one person and one situation at a time. You do not have to have superpowers to save the world. All you need is a heart big enough to love and respect it. The goal for a knight is not to act in a compassionate manner all of the time, but to be compassionate when dealing with the world around us, especially when dealing with ourselves. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in helping us reach more and more people. If you like the video, give it a like, share it to your friends, and drop us a comment in the comment box down below. I love you all very much. And until next time, awaken the knight within.